guys, Justin again. Today we are going to talk about why you should never put your own listing into the MLS. So we are back for another episode of What Does My VAs Do For Me and My Business? Now, let's just dive right into MLS listings. Now, whether you take one listing a month or you take 100, one of the things that we all hate to do is input listings into the MLS. Now, a lot of us might pay a per transaction company to put listings into the MLS for us. The problem is a lot of times they charge extra to get it into the MLS because per contract TC companies, what they normally do is they don't start the process until you go under contract. So if you get a buyer under contract, that's when you turn over to the file to your per transaction coordination company, and that's where they start and run with the file. Now, when it comes to a listing, they like to see the same thing. They don't want to take over the transaction until it's under contract. So if it's not under contract yet, you normally have to pay them an additional service fee to input it in. Now, sometimes that can be $50, 75, $100. And when you talk about virtual assistants that only cost $2 to $3, $4, $5 an hour, it is well worth your time to have a VA do this for you. Now, before we get into the specifics of it, I want to make sure that you guys don't miss any future videos of what it comes to what do my virtual assistants do for me. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe and hit the little bell button right there to be notified every single time. Also hit the like button. It helps our rankings, our notifications, so that way it pops up for you more often. So we talked about what's the coordination. So if you already have a transaction coordination company, I'm not saying to replace them. I'm saying to think about how a VA could step into that process. So, you go on the listing appointment, you get the signed paperwork. From there, you should really not have to do anything else. You should be able to give that paperwork to a virtual assistant and they can put all the other things into motion. Now, you guys hear me talk about that a lot of times people aren't ready to have a VA do their transaction coordination, or maybe their state doesn't allow it, or whatever the story is, but that VA can still take off the process of coordinating photos, the photo time. They can help coordinate the stager, right? They can help send out next steps emails. They can help, start prepping the MLS documentation. The MLS documentation, when you guys put a listing into the MLS, if you've never done it before, it's pretty straightforward. It's got 100, 300, 400 blanks, whatever yours may be. And then you just have to take what the home is and put it into there. And so if you already have all that information and the agent does their job, it should just be typing numbers, putting in photos, etc. A lot of times it takes us a lot of time when we get the photos back from the photographer. It takes a lot of time just to upload those photos in there, sort them out, get them all pretty, put the captions like this is the kitchen, this is the bathroom. If you have any desire to grow your real estate business, you should not be sitting and worrying about captions on the videos that go into the MLS. That is not helping you make more money, and that is not helping you grow your clientele. Now you're like, Justin, but I'm all about the customer service and I'm all about trying to give them a good quality. If you can't find a person that can put in captions for you, you're just not cut out to be in business, in my opinion. We can find you a virtual assistant that can help you put captions to make the thing, right? Because the more money you make, it doesn't mean that you lose customer service. The more money you make, the more time that you are leveraged to be able to go find more customers. When you as a business make more money, you're able to spend more money on your clients' marketing. You're able to spend more money on things that you may not have been able to before, and that only increases your customer service. So let's talk about the process for an MLS listing. Step number one, you have to determine what are the 100 questions that are going to be asked on the MLS listing when you put one in, right? So when you put it in on the MLS listing, what are the 100 questions? Now, most MLSs, they have a printout that if you were to print it out, it has all the questions on there. So when you go on the listing presentation or you give it to the client to fill out whatever your story is, every state's a little different, and you fill it out as you're walking through the home, all you have to do is scan that to the VA. All the language matches. Now it's just them putting it into the MLS. And so that can happen the day that you get back from the listing appointment, because most MLSs, the VA can start a draft. So they're going to start a draft for that address and they're going to start filling all that in. Now they don't have the photos yet. I get that. They're probably coordinating the photo shoot. And when those photos come in, if they come into your email or the VA's email, just forward them to the VA. They'll upload all the photos in there. They'll go put all the captions in there. And here's where the critical part is. Now the VA is going to text you and go, hey, we're missing these 30 things or these 10 things. Where can I find them? How can we get them? And you might go, oh, I got these 5 here. I already know that because I was at the house, etc. And now the VA has gotten your MLS listing 98% of the way there. Now, depending on your trust level and how you're set up, the VA can obviously submit it whenever the listing's ready to go live. Or if you want to keep control of that, the VA can get it 98% of the way there. Now all you're having to do is log in and go, cool, you're more proofreading it, you're more checking everything, because ultimately at the end of the day, it falls onto you and your image what gets put out there. So a lot of people, especially if you're only doing a few listings a month, it's okay to take that, now you're taking 3 or 4 minutes just to review everything and make sure it all looks good rather than you are having to piece and part it all together. While I know that this is a small task, that can add up as you grow your business, right? It might not feel big, right, at 1 listing. It might not feel big at 2. But if you have a week where you get 4 listings all in 1 week, you're going to feel stressed, and there's no reason to feel stressed about putting listings into the MLS. I could literally teach my 7th, 8th grade sister. She's actually a sophomore. Man, I'm losing time. I could teach my sophomore high school sister, and I could trust her to do it rather than you stress about it, take time away from your family. That's what my passion is I don't want to see you take time away from your family at dinner because you got to go input 4 listings that could have been done by manual entry. So that's the world of virtual assistants. Have them manage your listing input 98% of the way there. You still get to be in full control of releasing it. But a lot of people don't think about this small task. If you're already spending money to pay for someone to do it, why not just spend that same amount of money on a virtual assistant? Because now you're getting them for the rest of the month as well, whether you have 1 listing or whether you have 10 listings. I heard a story last week of one of our newest clients, and they said, Justin, I'm doing like 7 listings a month, which is, that's quite a bit, quite above average by a lot. And she's like, I'm paying $50 a listing to get it put into the MLS. And she was paying like $400 roughly to even just get them into the MLS. And then it was going to the transaction coordinator once they get under contract. And the problem with that is she was getting like 10 to 20 offers per listing. And so she didn't have any extra help with that. But with a VA now, she has that $400 back in her pocket that she can pay someone. And when those listings get offers now, that she has a person that can compile them all, put all the data into a spreadsheet, make sure that they all get rejections, signatures, except for the one. So there's just so much more that you can do when that person's on your staff full time. So just wanted to say thank you guys for watching this video. As always, there is a PDF below this video, so make sure to go and download that. It's got the top 50 things that a virtual assistant can do for you and your business. And in there is a guide and written instructions on how to do what I just taught. And it will probably spark your memory and mind and get the juices flowing on 49 other things that your virtual assistant can do for you. Obviously, our soft pitch. If you ever need a virtual assistant that comes trained in all of those different things and want to join the hundreds of agents that have already joined the Sphere Rocket VA family and getting a real estate virtual assistant, you can also find that down below at sphererocketva.com. It's a no pressure call with myself to learn more about your business and just see if you need a VA or if you don't need a VA. Now, with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next video.